the organization that people go to when they have a personnel problem, when they need someone to get fired, or when they need someone to enforce the rules. And because of this, in many organizations, HR gets a bad reputation. Personally, I don't know why HR has this reputation at all. The truth, as an HR professional, you are sitting in the catbird seat, also known as a very enviable position. Let me explain. HR has two customers. You serve employees and you serve the senior leadership team. And I'm sure there are many days where you feel like those two people, that their needs are not aligned. But the truth is, their needs are always aligned. There is nothing more than what your employees want and what your senior leaders want are the same. They both want your company to succeed. And you, HR, are sitting in the catbird seat because you own the space that enables your company's success. And it's called employee engagement. When employees are engaged, their performance skyrockets and everyone benefits. The employees, the leaders, the shareholders, the board of directors, the community, your clients, your customers. And we know that when employees are engaged, your company succeeds because there is a direct correlation between employee engagement and profitable revenue growth. The most successful companies in the world have the highest levels of employee engagement. But here's your dilemma, HR. Even though you own employee engagement or culture change, you don't own the people who have the greatest impact on employee engagement, and that is your frontline managers. Your CEO owns your frontline managers, and he or she can get them to do things that you cannot. And for that critical reason, you must engage your CEO in your employee engagement journey. You can succeed if you approach employee engagement as a team. You will not succeed if HR is the only player on the team. And my guess is that's how you've been approaching employee engagement to this point. So I'd like to ask you the question, how is that working for you? Today you are going to learn three critical things. Why employee engagement matters, why traditional approaches to employee engagement do not work, and a new and innovative approach that will enable you to skyrocket employee engagement and your bottom line results. So let's start by getting on the same page about what employee engagement is. We're going to watch a video, and before we watch it, I want to assure you, employee disengagement is a global epidemic. Because the video was created in the United States, there are 2 points where there will be a US data point. But again, as we will get through this presentation, you will see this is something that is affecting every single company in every industry and virtually every employee in the world. And the Asia Pacific region has the highest level of employee disengagement globally. So let's start by getting on the same page about the definition of engagement. So the most important lesson, thank you, in the video is the definition of employee engagement. When your employees are engaged, they trust your senior leaders and they feel an emotional connection to your organization. And because of this, they go above and beyond the call of duty and give you 150% discretionary effort. If you think about it, every single day your employees have a choice. They come to work and they can do what they have to do to get by, or they can give you every single thing they've got. When they're engaged, they give you everything they have, and it shows up in your bottom line. A few moments ago, I said that it was so crucial for you to approach employee engagement as a team. HR cannot succeed if they take on employee engagement on their own. And that's why Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz are our group that we are going to use today as our model. Virtually every time I speak, wherever I talk in the world, everyone has seen this classic movie called The Wizard of Oz. And people understand this group's plight. If you think about what they went through, they were drugged in a poppy field. Toto the dog was kidnapped. They were ambushed by winged monkeys, right? And they were also trying to, there was a blend of the bad witch that was trying to destroy them. And if you think about what they went through, they never, ever, ever gave up. Why? Because they were engaged. They trusted the leader giving them direction, blended the good witch, and they felt an emotional connection to their mission, which was to make it to Oz. And I can assure you, employee disengagement does not happen overnight. Every single one of your workers started on their first day with visions of being a high performer, with visions of staying in your company for a very long time, with visions of adding meaning and making a difference and adding value. But little by little, our company cultures chip away at the spirits of our workers, of our employees. And realize that I keep saying engaged workers and not happy workers. So even though we have all of this extraordinary data about the benefits of having an engaged workforce, engaged workers sell more, they're more productive, they stay longer, they provide better customer service, they're amazing ambassadors for your brand, and they recommend you as an employer to their family and friends. These are all the benefits of having engaged workers. And they're communicated widely. And even though all of that information is known, companies around the globe are absolutely failing at employee engagement. How bad is it? It's dismal. According to the Gallup organization, 87% of global workers are not engaged. 87%. The number is highest in the Asia-Pacific region at 89%. This means that your workers are going to work every single day, and they don't trust your leaders. They're not giving you 150%. They're not giving you discretionary effort. They're sleepwalking through their day, and they're putting in time, but no energy, creativity, or value into their workday. And so what do these disengaged workers do all day? Well, we know that they walk around and they talk to other people in their work group, ensuring that your engaged workers become more distracted. Many times they will sit at home and watch TV because they've called in sick when they're perfectly healthy. And if you're really lucky, they'll spend the time that you are paying them to work to write a scathing review about your company and post it on the Glassdoor website, which is the global website that employees are now looking at most as they seek to find their next employer, as they seek to figure out where they want to go and what organizations have the best cultures. So how many of you have an employee engagement survey in your company? Raise your hands. Great, that's about 50%. So the Gallup organization conducted the first workplace survey 40 years ago. And at that time, the employee disengagement levels were in the same place. So you may have watched the video and thought, well, her data is out of date. But the data isn't out of date, and that's what is so sad. The data from 2013 is the data from 2003, is the data from 1993, is the data from 1983. In 4 decades, employee engagement has not improved. Companies have spent billions of dollars trying to improve their cultures. We saw in the video, 87% of C-suite executives say that they know that employee disengagement poses a real threat to their bottom line. Yet through it all, nothing has changed. Why? In my humble opinion, employee engagement has not improved in the past 40 years because companies continue to cling to outdated models and traditional approaches do not work. What is the most popular traditional approach to improve employee engagement? Outsource it to human resources. I have never met a company that hasn't outsourced culture change to HR. And this is not at all a dig against HR. I've worked with thousands of strategic HR people in my career, and I think you're absolutely wonderful. However, as we talked about 10 minutes ago, even though you own culture change, you don't own the people who have the greatest impact on culture change. Your senior leaders do. And so what is a new and innovative approach that will enable you to increase employee engagement and your bottom line results? This. As we've talked about, your leaders must engage in your employee engagement journey. How do you get your CEO to engage employee engagement when he or she has outsourced it to you? Data. Executives love numbers. They love them, they eat them up. Every single executive in this world is in the seat that he or she is in. They're in the corner office because they understand numbers, because they get numbers, and they've got a great track record of ensuring that they make the numbers, right? Every executive in the world, every single day is judged by their board, by their shareholders, by their employees, by their customers, on their ability to make the numbers. And so executives relate to numbers. And so if you gather compelling data about the correlation between employee engagement and profitable revenue growth, and you share it with your CEO, you share it with your senior leadership team, that person will get it if they're savvy, and they will agree to partner with you. The second part of the equation is the 4-step process, which we will talk about in a moment. Bottom line, your CEO needs to bring every single people manager in your organization together and have a town hall meeting with all of those people and tell them specific actions that they need to take in the trenches to engage workers. You cannot just have your managers out there doing whatever they think they should be doing to re-engage your people. You have to be very specific with them and tell them exactly what they need to do in the trenches, and then your CEO needs to hold those people accountable for executing on your strategic plan. Where did this strategy come from? When I worked at Avaya, I was the head of global internal communications. And the CEO came to me one day and he said, "Jill, I need you to help us fix our dysfunctional culture." I did not know a thing about culture change. So I did what I always do in business. When a senior leader asked me to tackle something, I benchmarked. I looked at the 15 companies around the globe with the highest levels of employee engagement, and I looked at what they were doing to keep their people engaged. And in every single one of those companies, the CEO was involved in the employee engagement journey. And then I looked for trends across their strategies. I looked at the areas where they were focusing. And I also looked at our employee engagement survey data. I looked at our highest rated questions. I looked at our lowest rated questions. And I pinpointed 4 areas that I believed were instrumental in helping to drive enormous levels of engagement. And I came up with this strategy. I went back to the CEO and I said, "Lou," I said, "I developed a strategy that I believe is going to work." I said, "But my team and I cannot be successful without you." And he said, "Why, Jill?" And I said, "Because there is no one who sets the stage more for culture change than you." I said, "I need you to champion employee engagement. I need you to hold a manager town hall meeting with every single manager in our organization in all 35 countries, and I need you to tell them specific actions that they need to take with their employees, and then I need you to hold them accountable for those results." And he said, "Jill, I can do that." My internal communications team and I partnered with HR and the senior leadership team. In 1 year, we improved employee engagement 11 points, and our stock rose 26%. According to Gallup, a 2-point employee engagement increase per year is statistically significant. And I'm sharing these results with you to give you hope. If we could re-engage 35,000 employees in 55 countries in a 100-year-old telecommunications firm that was political and bureaucratic and hierarchical, you can re-engage your employees. And so if you're wondering, well, who are the benchmarks today? Who are the leaders in employee engagement? Think about organizations like Ritz-Carlton, British Airways, and we have a fast food restaurant in the United States called Chick-fil-A. It's similar to McDonald's, but they don't sell hamburgers. All they sell are chicken sandwiches. And I'd never been to a Chick-fil-A, so about 3 months ago, I thought, I should probably eat some protein, try to be healthy. I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A, and I'm going to go through their drive-thru window and get a chicken sandwich. This would be equivalent to you going to McDonald's and going through their drive-thru window. So I pull up to the restaurant, and there must be 25 cars in the line. And I thought, I'm going to be here forever, but this is a great test in my patience. let me get on my smartphone and I can multitask and I'll just sit in this line and wait. And within a few moments, I noticed that a lot of cars had quickly moved through the line. And I thought, well, this is incredibly efficient. This is moving fast. And then when I got up to the board to order, I'd never been to a Chick-fil-A, and so I noticed that their chicken sandwich only came with a pickle on it. And I thought, well, that's very odd. So the woman comes on the monitor and says, welcome to Chick-fil-A. I hope you're having an amazing day. What would you like to order? And I said, well, I'd like a chicken sandwich, but it looks like it only has a pickle. And she said, yes, that's true. I said, no lettuce, no tomato? She said, no, just a pickle. I said, great, I will have your chicken sandwich with no pickle. She said, wonderful, please pull forward and we'll take your money. And I thought, she didn't ask me to supersize that. She didn't ask me if I wanted a drink. She didn't ask me if I wanted French fries. She just let me go through. Within a moment, there was a woman standing at my car window outside with an electronic device, taking the money. So you didn't even have to get all the way to the drive-through window for them to take your money. There was somebody outside taking your money to expedite the process so that you could move through the drive-through window line even faster. And I thought, well, that's incredibly efficient. And then within 3 minutes, I was probably at the window where they were giving me my food. And I am not kidding you, there were 25 cars in that drive-through line. And so I turned to the woman who was standing in the window, and she was incredibly young. She was a teenager.